Hello and welcome to It's Tea Time, and I'm your host Jonathan Sellers, and back again this week is John Hartwell, the Director of Athletics for Troy University. And John, it is a busy time of year. I know we talk about this during the fall, that right in the middle there's a lot going on, but right now during the spring it just seems like everything's starting up or right in the middle of their season.
Yeah, it really is, especially when you talk about men's and women's basketball, and kind of coming down the home stretch towards the conference tournament, and then all of our fall sports starting. Softball open last weekend, baseball opens here at home this weekend. You've got the golfs both getting ready to go out on trips, tennis. So there's a lot going on.
Well, let's go ahead and highlight the basketball teams. Both teams coming off a pretty good road stand. The men winning at Arkansas State, losing the game at Appalachian State. The reverse for the women, but both picked up good wins on the road.
Yeah, they really did. The men Thursday night in Jonesboro beat a very talented Arkansas State team. The women weren't quite so fortunate. And then literally quite a road trip because both teams bussed from here to Jonesboro last Wednesday, played in Jonesboro Thursday evening, and then drove back to the Nashville area Thursday night after the games in Jonesboro. Got there, I think the men said they got to Cookeville, Tennessee at 3 a.m. Eastern time. And then to get up Friday morning and drive on to Boone, North Carolina to play Appalachian State. As you said, the men came up a little bit short at App State, lost 65-62, real tough game there. But the women, somewhere they found some offensive magic in transgressing the state of Tennessee on that bus ride because they pumped in 108 points en route to a victory over Appalachian State Saturday afternoon.
And that was just a huge victory. They shot, I believe, over 60%, or in the first half at least, and just a great victory. And that team has just shown throughout this season how much they've improved from year to year to year and already matched their win totals from last year.
Yeah, they have, and certainly coming down the stretch, I think they're tied for third place right now on the women's side. So trying to jockey for position, Arkansas Little Rock, who for a great portion of the conference season so far has been undefeated. They did lose the other night, so maybe showing a chink or two in the armor. And Arkansas State's up there, but it's all about positioning for the conference tournament, and hopefully we can finish in that second or third slot as we get ready for the tournament in March in New Orleans.
And there's some big upcoming games this week. South Alabama, that's always a big one, and that's at home on Thursday.
Yeah, it is. Certainly a rivalry game. The first time we played them this year, both on the women's and the men's side. Expect to have a lot of students out, several I know the freshman group has something going on there. We've also made it faculty and staff appreciation games, so any faculty or staff member, not only on the Troy campus, but any of our satellite campuses as well, can either stop by the ticket office this week prior to Thursday night, show their ID, get 2 free general admission tickets, or you can show them at the door to get in on Thursday night. So I encourage our folks to get out for those games. South Alabama's women kind of struggling. They're at the bottom of the league. I think they're 1-12. But their men are playing pretty well, and more importantly, their men are bunched right there with our men. We're, there are 4 teams sitting there vying for that 7th and 8th spot right now. Actually, 5 teams vying for the 7th and 8th spot right now. And South Alabama is a game ahead of us, so a huge game for us on the men. Not that they all aren't huge, but a huge game in terms of trying to position ourselves down the stretch to ensure that we make the conference tournament.
Well, and then if you don't have your Valentine's Day plans set yet, you can also go out to Trojan Arena on Saturday as Troy plays Louisiana Lafayette.
Yes, and just think you can bring your sweetheart and spend an entire day of Troy athletics, because our baseball team will be playing a doubleheader on Saturday, start times of 1 and 4. Women's basketball tips up against Lafayette at 2 o'clock, followed by the men at 4:15. So a full day of action.
Lots going on, and you mentioned baseball, so let's go ahead and talk about that. They're starting their season, the final season for head coach Bobby Pierce, and hopefully the team can send them out on a high note.
Yes, looking forward to it. Starting out Friday night, and as I looked at it's a 6 o'clock start, I believe, and as I looked at the advanced forecast, I think it's supposed to be about 45 degrees at time of first pitch. So, but come on out and support the team, like you said. Coach Pierce's victory lap, if you will, and I know they're excited. A lot of new faces, but they're excited about it, especially some of the young pitchers that we'll see in action this weekend.
And I know I've heard him say recently that the Trojans, they won in 2011, they won in 2013. Again, it's an odd year, so another chance to repeat as Sun Belt champions.
Yeah, he talks about odd years and the success with conference championships, and certainly, I know in talking to both Bobby and to Coach Mark Smart, they're excited about the upcoming year, and certainly our players and coaching staff want to send Coach Pierce out on a very high note.
And softball also got started last weekend. They were here at home, and it was the start of the program under head coach Beth Mullins. And they showed some signs with 2 victories, but also some things they can work on. Yeah,
they certainly did. And, the Beth Mullins era actually got underway Thursday night at Auburn. A tremendous top half of the first, scoring 4 runs in the top half of the first. The flip side of that, though, is we gave up a 10 spot in the bottom of the first. But certainly a lot of promise, and they came back and won a couple of games, beat Florida A&M and Buffalo, and had impressive showings against those teams. So, again, I look forward to a tremendous year of softball under Coach Mullins. And they actually travel to Athens this weekend to play in a tournament at the University of Georgia.
And then the men's tennis team, they've been on a roll. They did lose the other day to Ole Miss, but it was a 4-3 loss, a very tightly fought battle.
Yeah, they did. Coming off a weekend sweep here in Troy, a 7-0 sweep of Southern Miss. They traveled yesterday and played in Oxford against Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is ranked 18th in the country right now, and like you said, lost a very tight match, 4-3. And Coach Scott Kidd's really got that team playing well. All
right, and then just to review, you weren't here last week, so we didn't get to preview recruiting day, but it is come and gone, signing day, and it was a successful day for the Trojans.
Yeah, it really was. If you look at the success that the staff had over a 2-month period, just coming on board the beginning of December, and not only the success, but you look at the local success, South Alabama kids and some Panhandle of Florida guys, and addressing the needs. You look down that signing list, a lot of offensive and defensive linemen, a couple of linebackers, several defensive backs, and exactly what was needed to complement the returners that Coach Neil Brown will have. And now they turn their attention to getting ready for spring practice. Our defensive guys and Coach Brown spent last Thursday and Friday together on a little retreat. And then yesterday and today, our offensive coaches are doing that because, as Neil told me the other day, he said, hey, we really hadn't had time to talk football X's and O's. We come on board, go right into the throes of recruiting, so now we need to get down to some X's and O's as they prepare to start spring practice a little bit later this year. They'll start late March and with a culmination on April 25th of the spring game.
And I know we'll talk about that one coming up, but that is a very busy weekend around Troy athletics. But a lot to look forward to and a lot going on in Troy this weekend, so hopefully fans will come out.
Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. And again, remember that Thursday night's Faculty and Staff Appreciation Night. Come on out and help us defeat our arch rival, the South Alabama Jaguars.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. We're back here on It's Tea Time, and we're going to talk men's basketball with an assistant coach on the men's basketball team, Ben Fletcher. And Ben, it was a busy week for y'all last week, a long road trip as we were just discussing off air, but heading to Arkansas State where y'all pulled a pretty big victory over there against the Red Wolves.
Yeah, the guys played well. They've been really locked in here the last few weeks defensively, and it showed in that game. We came out and forced a lot of turnovers and bad shots, and that got us going offensively. We were able to score some easy buckets early, and then Musa Abdul-Alim got us going with the three-point shot as well.
Well, and it had to be good for you. You got a win over UT Arlington the week before, get another win on the road. Those are always good because you want to win the ones at home, but getting a couple on the road is always good.
Right. And like I said, doing that at Arlington, a team that had been playing as good as anybody in the league, it was really big for us. And defensively, we were really good that game as well. And I think the guys have noticed that and taking full responsibility for it and accountability for it. But defensively, we've been really good, and we just need to keep that effort up.
And then you had to make that long trip over to Appalachian State, to the North Carolina mountains, and take on a pretty good team that you fell behind early, battled back, tried to get back in it, but just too little too late against them. Yeah,
we kind of dug ourselves a hole there early in that game. And credit App State. They came out, they had a great atmosphere. They came out and played, forced the tempo and kind of pressured us defensively. But we did a great job of fighting back early in that first half and getting the lead cut to 6 at halftime. We came out in the second half and fought and fought and fought, and finally got the game tied with about 2 minutes to go, I think it was, in the game. We came down on back-to-back possessions, had 2 really good looks, and it just didn't go down for us. And then they came down and hit a tough 3 to kind of put them out of reach. But we couldn't fault the effort of our guys. They really showed grit in that game, man. Just fatigue was a factor, and they never gave in to it.
And now you get a pretty good homestand. 2 games this week, and we'll really focus on the South Alabama game. That's Thursday night. In-state rival team, a team that y'all are pretty familiar with, but new coaching staff as of last year. What do you know about the Jags?
The Jags will play fast. They're really up-tempo team this year, which is different from last year. Last year they ran a lot of sets. This year they want to get up and down and run a lot more. And with Coach coming from Butler, he's a stickler for defense as well. So a good defensive team and a fast-paced offensive team. We got 3 guards that really can shoot it. So we'll have to be tied down defensively this game.
Now, one of our new assistants actually came from Butler, right? The video guy. So,
right, Chase.
So is he giving y'all any tips of what you may expect?
No, because their styles are too different.
Okay.
Offensively, they're doing something totally different than they did at Butler.
Okay.
And then defensively, he's kind of moved on his own as well and doing his different things too. So sorry we couldn't use Chase in that situation.
You also faced Louisiana Lafayette. What do you know about them? You already faced them earlier this year?
We did. Had a tough game down there with those guys. It was a close game at halftime, and then they shot a career high percentage-wise in the second half, which really led to them beating us down there. But Sean Long, who's probably will be the front runner for Player of the Year in the league, 6'9" guy inside, really skilled, can score it inside out. He's been doing a great job this year, averaging close to 18 and 10. But they're coming in with a lot of confidence as well. Like I said, they lost this past weekend to Arlington on national TV. They'll go to Monroe, which is their rival, Thursday night, and then they'll make the trip over to play us.
All right, so but 2 good games at home this week. Good opportunities for fans to come out and catch the Trojans, especially Thursday night. As I said, in-state rival. You want to beat the Jags.
Right. That's next on the list. The South Alabama Jaguars. We'd like to have a packed house for them.
All right, Ben. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. We're back on It's Tea Time. We're going to talk about the indoor track season with the head coach of that program, and that's Coach Mark Davis. And Coach, y'all have been busy, and last weekend you were at Middle Tennessee and had some strong performances. Can you just highlight some of those for us?
Yeah, we did. They went out, they competed. It was a scored meet. We still haven't seen what the score is yet, though. But the goal was to go out and beat some people, beat individuals on the track, and that's what they did. They competed hard. It was pretty telling as to who steps up and who's going to be the major players on our team.
Have you seen some progress from the beginning of indoor
Absolutely.
Now as we've made our way towards the end of it?
Absolutely. You see, like, a lot of the fear is gone. A lot of these kids are really going out there to compete and doing the things they need to do.
And now you're heading back to Birmingham. You've been there a lot so far during this indoor season, but taking on in a Sanford meet. And what can we see up there?
Basically, for the women, we're just kind of tuning up to go into Sunbelt and just trying to run some people in some faster events, shorter events, just to go with a taper and peak, just so they can be ready for Sunbelt. For the guys, we're just training right through it and getting ready for outdoors, basically, for them. This is the last meet that the guys are going to go to before we move outdoors in a couple weeks.
Okay. Well, for those people, what are they going to be doing to get ready for the Sun Belt Indoor Championships, and then for the guys, outdoors not too far away. I mean, are you going to be getting a lot of guys up there to Birmingham this weekend, or just?
We're going to try to get quite a few. Okay. It'll be a chance for some of the kids that haven't really competed yet. Okay. To really get out there and show us what they can do at this point, just so we can see what's going on for outside. The women, a lot of them will be running events that are shorter than what they're going to run at Sunbelt, just to get a little bit of speed under their belt, do a little rest. If there's any type of nagging injuries, just kind of take care of them over the next couple of weeks. So.
Right. And the indoor championships, those will be again at Birmingham. Mm-hmm. So does it help being familiar with a certain track? I mean, will it run differently than others?
Indoors especially, yes. When you're looking at a banked track and getting used to all the lanes, it does make a big difference. Getting used to the air inside there, how dry it is, it does make a big difference.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck this coming up weekend, and as you prepare for the Sunbelt Indoor Championships.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. We're back on It's Tea Time. Take our final look, and we're going to talk about the women's basketball team with the associate head coach of the women, and that's Coach Jennifer Graff. And Coach, y'all had a busy week as I talked with Coach Fletcher about the men. A long travel week as you headed to Arkansas State on Thursday. A tough loss there. Your team jumped out to an early lead, but then hit a skid right there in the first half and just couldn't catch back up.
It was very similar to the first time we played them, where we had a lead and ended up losing it. But Arkansas State, they're one of the top teams in our conference for a reason. They're very good. Hopefully we get a chance to play them again in the tournament. But we hit that skid there where we weren't able to score, and that's always the bottom line for us. We've got to be able to put the ball in the basket, and when we score a lot of points, we tend to win those games. And we weren't able to score nearly as many points as we would like. So Arkansas State was a tough game for us, but it was a tough road trip the entire week. Getting up to Ark State and then having to head over to Boone on Saturday. But the girls responded well there, so it was good.
Yeah, they did respond well. As you said, if you score a lot of points, you normally win, and that's exactly what happened on Saturday. 108 points against the Mountaineers, and that was just a huge victory.
Well, we knew one of the things going into the game was just being able to overcome that sluggish. We've been traveling for 3 days. We spent a lot of time on that bus, but we told our girls App State had to go down to Lafayette and play Lafayette in Lafayette, Louisiana, and had to get back to Boone, North Carolina. So we said there is no woe is me in this game. They're going to be just as tired as you are, so you've got to overcome that. And we kind of challenged them with that. And if you can get your team in the middle of February to go out to warm-ups right before the game, and they're fired up and high-fiving each other and they're excited as could be, quite honestly, just looking at App State, they're sitting down there half asleep looking at us like, what are they on? So I think that started the tone right there. And then obviously we were able to knock down shots, and our defense, our pressure defense created a lot of steals again, and we score a lot of points off of that. So anytime we can score over 100, I'm sure that's the case for most teams, you're able to win those games.
And Coach Ruby, she's known for her 100-point dance. She got to do that, and hopefully she'll get to do it again on Thursday night, because you're facing South Alabama, and while this is normally a big rivalry game, they're a little bit down on the record-wise this year. What do you know about them?
Well, they are, if you look at their record, which is something we're going to kind of steer clear of with our girls, even though they'll be able to look it up and see, they're 1-12 in conference. They are right on the edge of being able to win games. Like they don't lose by more than 8 to 10 points. In fact, many of their games, especially their last 4 games, they've lost 2 points to one, 4 points to another. They were able to beat Lafayette in their home, and for their only win that they have in conference. But they're a very good team. They're a very athletic team. Just like always, scoring a lot of points is going to be key for us. But at some point, our defense does have to just be able to get a stop in a half-court set. Of course, we're going to focus on scoring points and getting a lot of steals, which is normally what we do. If we can do that same thing, it's always fun to do the 100-point dance at home as opposed on the road.
So all the fans can see it, and hopefully there'll be a lot of fans out. I know there's a lot going on with this game with the students, but I know y'all have had some good turnouts this year. Hopefully another good one for this. But then also on Saturday, hopefully there's a good turnout for that one, because that game is the Play for K game, and if you could just kind of explain what that means.
Well, I think every sport kind of does their own breast cancer awareness game. Play for K is in honor of Kay Yao, who was a women's basketball coach at South Carolina who won a number of games, was a legendary coach, ended up passing away dying of breast cancer, fought the battle for over 20-something years. And so the foundation is focused around her and her legend. But every women's basketball team in the country, the WBCA, sets aside 2 weeks that we kind of focus on it. Gives the girls a chance to wear pink, but the whole idea is just to raise awareness and raise money to be able to donate to that foundation and try to help find a cure. And we're going to be doing the same thing. Saturday, the girls will be in pink uniforms. We encourage everybody to wear pink.
Okay.
We'll be selling pink T-shirts, bracelets, pens, pencils, those types of things. People can call the office in advance and buy it, or you can buy them at the game. We'll have people, as soon as you walk in the arena, you'll be able to purchase a $10 T-shirt, and every bit of that money will go toward the KL Cancer Foundation.
And that's a 2 o'clock tip on Saturday.
2 o'clock tip.
Against Louisiana Lafayette, so another good Sun Belt opponent, and hopefully you peel out 2 big victories this weekend at home.
It'd be great to get 2 at home, that's for sure.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, and stay tuned again, and join us again next week for more on It's Tea Time.